Hello, viewers. Hi, this evening. I'm to everyone listening, to every visionary, to every entrepreneur, every dreamer, and every believer in the power of Africa. This is your moment. Let us call forth the dreams of our ancestors. Let us rise. This evening, wherever you're watching, wherever you are, in any part of the world you are, I just want us to join us this evening to join Inva to bring in you our today's discussions. We will be discussing how it clicks in our various lives. It could be the moment you decided to go for your dream job, the moment you decided to go for your career, the moment you decided to leave the shore of Africa, the moment you decided to pursue whatever goals you desire. So we will be discussing with uh, my colleagues in this evening how it clicks. Hello, Mr. Andrew, and hello, Mr. Shegun. How are you guys doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing good, Alex. How are you also doing? Hello, Shegu, how are you?
I'm fine, my brothers. How are you coping? How's everything? It's
Everything
nice
is good.
coming together again.
Oh,
Yes,
definitely, definitely,
yes.
yeah.
It's quite a long time now since everybody's busy. You know, we live in a time where everybody is busy doing one thing or the other, and to really catch up, to really sit down to said share our views and get to understand what is going on in our various lives is sometimes it could be very challenging, but it's really a pleasure to have you this evening.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's gonna be a great discussion tonight. So wherever you are watching again, as Alex said, just sit tight, hold back, and listen to our few discussions and what we've got to say. I mean, it's just our point of view that we are going to share with you guys. So anything we say, if it relate to you or it resonates with you, you just don't ignore it. Just pick a few points out of it and apply it to your life, and I guarantee you it will help in so many ways.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. You see, my viewers, let me tell you, today topic will be a very memorable, as my colleague said. It's going to leave an indelible mark and potential turning point in our various lives. The discussion around the moment it clicked when you're connected. For me, there are several times or several ways I could say it clicked in my own life, but we all have different ways when we caught the moment, when we catch the moment. It is as an episode that I want everyone to stay tuned for an insightful and life changing conversation as we unravel these questions, as we bring to the life moment that matters. We encourage you to sit back, relax, invite your friends, family to join us as we explore what exactly clicked. The moment is pivotal in your life. What made you to realize who you are? And when you realize who you are, what did you do? So
Yeah.
today, yeah, of course. So today, we find ourselves at the beginning of new era. You know, we live in a time where the trajectory of our lives changes because of the policies of the country where we live. Wherever you find yourself in the northern part of the world, the eastern part of the world, the western part of the world, the southern part of the world, but the main thing is a new era calling for action. An inverse station is a unique station whereby we share our opinions, we share our views. This is where Africa, Pan Africa starts. This is where an Africa coming together to unite. Imagine a dream waking up saying North Africa, West Africa, East Africa, South Africa coming together and clicking together to work as a team. That is a massive big revolution in the whole world. Seeing that this continent coming together to make a change, to drive change. So I want each and every one of us to sit down and relax and listen to our our guest and our colleague this evening. Our
Yeah, I
mission
can
is to be
I can
inspired.
imagine what you just said. It's just showed like a picture, like a vision um, in my mind. It was just playing in my mind when you talked about North, East, South, and West Africa coming together as one, and doing stuff together. I think it would be a very, very, very brilliant thing that could happen. Because as you see, we all have our potentials, and there's been a lot of separation within our African communities and all that. So it will be a pleasure to see something like that happen. And I can imagine great things happening to Africa when that happens. But yeah, let's hold on tight. And I believe that it will definitely come to pass. I mean, it
Yeah,
starts,
sure.
you see, so, and it
Yeah,
starts with
sure.
us as well. It starts with us.
Yeah, sure, sure. And in addition to what my co-hosts have stated, we are going to begin to reiterate our core values, our basic identities as Africans. How have we missed most of those ones? What caused them? What are is it due to our negligence, or is it due to our ignorance, or what really caused those things? And how do we miss it? How is there any chance of us getting those values back? What do we need to do? How do we do those things we need to do? Because if we must tell ourselves the truth, in recent times, we don't trust ourselves as Africans. And
Yeah.
once we don't trust ourselves, how do we move the continent together? Definitely, no matter what to say, the Western world, whatever the Western world throw at us, we will keep on grabbing it because even within ourselves, we don't believe in ourselves, we don't trust ourselves, we don't value ourselves, we don't value our culture, we don't value our attitude. There are so many core things that we've lost. And I believe that during this discussion, we will definitely track some of them in our own views, how it has worked for us, how we've been able to make use of those things, and with the examples of people we've seen that have made use of them. And then we will definitely encourage all of our viewers that will be listening to us to put those things in mind and try as much as possible to work on them so that all of us together can lift Africa again, so that we can make Africa great again.
Trust is the
Yeah.
big word. You said trust. Trust is the big word, and I always ask myself this question: how can we build trust as
Mm.
humans? Let's put everything to the side and ask ourselves as humans: how can we build trust among each other? How?
You see, when you say trust, is a very how will I put it? It's a very intricate, question you're asking, and it's very, very subjective because there are different ways people could approach trust.
Yeah,
Okay.
You see, one, if you look at from West Africa, the West Africa citizens barely trust each other. Let's start with that. Because I'm from West Africa, so the West Africa region barely trust each other. So let alone West Africa coming together to deal with the North Africa.
Mm.
And
yeah,
remember, North Africa is made up of uh, there is a high percentage of North Africa being the Arab side of it. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
Then, now, and you see the mindset and the colonization of the Northern Africans, more or less assuming themselves to be like the West.
yeah.
So there is a huge uh, uh, um, disparity in that aspect. Now, let's let's now go back to West Africa now. So can a Ghanaian and Nigeria do business? When I mean business, I'm not saying Ghanaian and a Nigerian doesn't do business. All I'm trying to say, in all good faith, how many percentage? If we run a statistic now in the Western Europe, in the Northern Europe, in Eastern Europe, in Southern Europe, how many business you could say genuinely owned by a Ghanaian and a Nigerian together jointly? Do we know any at all?
Well, you see, my own point of view is even I would like to buttress my own point,
Yeah.
making it smaller unit, considering a smaller unit. You are
Yeah.
even going too far. You are talking about Western Africa.
Wait,
My
yeah,
own question will have been, even as a Nigeria, how many Nigerians of our generation, most especially, could come together and have things in common and do business? Because I like the word you use, the word is the business, and decided to do business together wholeheartedly. How many Nigerians? And from my own observation, I realized that that is one of the reasons why we are lacking industries in our region, because most of the existing industries in Nigeria, West Africa, are those that were brought by the Western people. And it has been for years, 60 years, 100 years, and it's still in existence.
yeah,
Ask any company that was old, that was set up by a Nigerian or a Ghanaian person, how many years down the line, once the owner dies, that's the end.
yeah.
So the question is this: how many people, how many Nigerians on their own can come together and work together and trust themselves? Because these are the core values we are missing. And we really need to go back there to analyze those issues so that we'll be able to know how do we move forward from where we are to where we're supposed to be.
I can also narrow it down to even ask ask a question even in the smaller proportion, that even among ourselves, even a family, a smaller family,
Mm.
how many family businesses do we even have in our own, various countries or homes? How many? So I'm just trying to find I'm just trying to find an answer to this question of like the trust, the word trust. What is it and how can we build trust? Because if we cannot even do it among our own families, how can we even expand that to, outside our families? Because if we're talking about Africa, for example, I'm also a Ghanaian, and me coming from a smaller family, I've been fortunate enough to be able to trust my brother and we work together. But I've had and heard and even seen other family members that don't have trust between each other and they're always having conflicts, even with smaller things. So if we cannot build trust in our own smaller group of families, how can we even expand that to the Western world or to the whole, to spread out the whole of Africa? So that's my point. That's what I'm focusing on now, and I want to get a bit of clarity on that. How can we build that trust, and how can we expand that?
Well, if I need to come in there, honestly, I really appreciate your point, bringing it down to the smallest units that we even form a larger society, which is called family. And of a truth, that is actually where the root of the problems. Because we are now in the world that we discovered that a brother can no longer trust to the point of committing a business or doing a business together with another of his siblings. What went wrong? The truth of the matter is that, and I've come to realization of the fact that before you could begin to trust somebody, you need to first of all trust yourself, and you need to first of all also put yourself in a state where you could be trusted by somebody else.
Hmm.
Because if you have not worked on yourself to the point that somebody else can trust you, then how do you expect you to trust somebody else? So the
Yeah,
first thing is that we need to work on ourselves to the point of being trusted. Then you will see, definitely you will be attractive. You will be attracted rather to people that will want to trust you because they've seen you that you're a trustworthy person,
yeah,
because you have shown it in every areas of your life, whether from, and it starts from the family. So if within the family you have not been able to show forth that you're a trustworthy person, somebody can commit a certain things into your hand, no matter how small it is, automatically, because you won't have that trust from the
Yeah.
person if you've not been able to show it. And I think that is the genesis of our problem, because a lot of us cannot even trust ourselves.
Thank you.
A lot of us can no longer trust ourselves because of some trivial known issues or factors. But you see, no matter how significant or insignificant those factors are, they could be dealt with if we see beyond now. If I know the person beside me, either my brother or my friend, if I know that God, or by chance he could become somebody better tomorrow that could need my help, or that I may need his help, I will work on myself to the point that wherever he is, you could always think of, oh, I know I have so person. Whenever I want to do this, I can always commit so things into his hand. But what do we have today? What we have today is the fact that, as a matter of fact, in all realities, there are a lot of people in diaspora that are looking for people, trustworthy people, back home in their various countries, that they might just want to commit small things into their hand. But unfortunately, they couldn't prove that trust. They couldn't show that trust to those people. And that is why we remain the way we are, in
Yeah.
my own point of view, anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much. So for me to start going further, I'll just need to break the fundamental issues that are associated with trust issues. So when you look at it from historical legacy and colonial influences, yeah.
Okay.
One, the colonial influences has colonized Africa and taught Africa with this. They came with this divide and rule tactics. That is one fundamental. So when they came with this divide and rule tactics, so the powers and the strategy is now one. They started with dividing the communities. So communities A, community B, community C, and D. So that the community A has these resources and B has these resources, C has these resources. So when they came with this disruption and indigenous system, breaking all the structure that kept that community together, they are very good in dividing and conquer tactics, and that was the fundamental thing they used to rule Africa, starting from that point, and that has emancipated our generation from one generation and up to today. That is one. Then, if you look at it from economical inequalities, so resources now, this community has these resources because this is the other resource. The other community feel they have weapons or they are stronger or they are influential. They don't want to trade with other community in fairness of this is what you have, like what we are taught in those days is in primary school, secondary school about economics, trade by barter. So you trade. This is I have a bag of rice and you have a bag of beans. So we trade. So I have beans, you have rice. So we trade in all fairness. But this inequality of this divide and conquer tactics will come in there. This community will try to take it by force, or perhaps they will look for someone in that community and corrupt, use that divide and conquer tactics, whereby this community is fighting for one particular goal to see, okay, we have rice, let's trade our rice to this community and use it to buy beans. Among the community that has rice, someone in that community has already been corrupted by the influence of divide and conquer. So you now see they will now have different views. So why this is going on for donkey years? Of course, you and I were not born then, and this generational this is become so it's not become to affect our cultural. It's not becoming our cultural norms. So
Yeah.
everybody. So this idea of individualism will come in. So so when it become our cultural normal, it's shifting our values start shifting. So everybody is now begin to pursue their own selfish interest, and this is what's happening today. This is where the individualism comes in, the individual goals, the jealousy, the envy among the community. and on. I can go on and on and on. So is a historical thing, and it's not something we can you can stay here and argue it for over a period of time. The fact remains it's an historical thing, but how can we navigate away from this? Because for example, for myself, I don't want to retire in the West. I want to grow old in Africa. So whether I ended up growing old and die in West Africa or North Africa or South Africa or East Africa, I am well pleased, but not in the West. But the biggest question now is the trust issue could make all this continent I'm measuring, all this region I'm measuring, cannot even deal with you. So
Yeah,
if we narrow it, if we bring it down to our smaller nuclear family, like what Shagun was saying, then it boils down to jealousy and individualism. So everybody is pursuing goals, values. This
yeah,
person wants to become, this person wants to be educated more than this person wants to achieve this person wants to possess this. And this is where the corruptions will come in, and this is what is eating up our value system up to today.
yeah. It's very deep. I mean, I really enjoyed what you said, and you made a lot of points there. So our questions still remain, and I think Shegu did made a point about working on ourselves. I think that's the beginning, because if you can work on yourself, to trust yourself, to not go against your words, I think that alone can influence other people around you,
Yeah,
because we all
working.
have to
uh,
live by example.
Yeah, working on yourself. This is where it clicked.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. That's
this is where it clicked because one, if you go by what Shagun said, work on yourself. Now, if you work on yourself, the question you need to ask yourself is, how about the person you want to deal with? As the person, because me as a
Yeah,
person,
yeah,
uh, uh,
yeah.
uh, you see, when you're working on yourself, the person you want to deal with, as as the person also worked on himself.
But
That's
oh
that's
well,
the
you
question.
see,
yeah,
yeah, that's just the way it goes. That's how it flows. You know, the truth of the matter is just that first of all, realizing that you need to work on yourself. Good. Now, the another question is this: how do you work on yourself? You know, if you are not before you could work on yourself, you need an information. You have to be informed either through religious matter if you're a religious person, or through searching for knowledge if you're a researcher, somebody that believes in reading, in studying any type of book whatsoever. You could now specialize on maybe if you want to work on yourself on economic base, you begin to read books on those one. If it's on social psychology, emotion, leadership, and so on. So you need to be informed. And one of the reasons why this team has to come together is because of that, because we realize that information is a key in getting done what we need to do. And if you are open to every source of information, you might not be able to know which one is good for you or which one is actually going to be affecting you. So that's one of the reasons why this team has come together, because we need to bring a right information, a correct information that, to the best of our knowledge, can bring these values together, can remind us of where we were as an African person. What are the lost value? What are the lost culture? What are the lost characters and attitude that we need to remind ourselves that no, could it be possible for us to bring those values, those issues, those attitudes, those character back? If we are able to bring them back, then can we proceed from there? Because, like my colleagues have rightly stated, like Alex specifically mentioned, now once there is no trust, especially in the race we all run as a family person, in a family setting now, there is a serious competition going on, either consciously or subconsciously or unconsciously, because this one want to say, no, you cannot beat me. This one want to say, no, I have to achieve this. Yes, it could have been good if we have an open-minded race. But we discovered that everybody is just running against everybody because of selfishness. Because perhaps the people that are ahead of the one that are coming have attained a particular level, and they do not want the people that are coming behind to go beyond that. They
Yeah.
started strategizing how those people coming behind will serve them or serve their kids. That greed has started coming in. So once the younger one notices that, automatically that younger one too will begin to go on how to gather his own army together. So it continues like that. But it was not so some years ago. At least I knew some uncles, some daddies that, in fact, you dare not talk to their younger brothers who happen to be, maybe my dad did not talk to his own younger brother or my grandpa. You see, they hold themselves so valuable, they value themselves. They don't want to joke themselves as siblings. But suddenly, all those things disappeared in our culture. So it now came to. I remember there was a time in Lagos, a sudden emergence of a marital system called "I and my husband alone." That was the period that thing was very, very pronounced. When those women at that period, what they just do is once they marry, they do not want to see any members of the family of the husband. They do not want to see. It's like a play, but the thing kept on growing, and now it has become a big tree that is affecting everybody. And that is the truth. So we really need to retrace back, where did we miss it? At what point did we get it wrong? Could there be a remedy? What can we do? Because African has all what it takes to rule the world.
Yeah.
That's my own opinion.
Yeah. So me listening to what you've said as well, I think I'm also gonna share a few lights on this and what I believe when you talked about the right information. I believe there is a lot of right information out there.
Okay.
It's just a matter of you being ready
Mm.
for it to click for you. Because I'll take myself as an example. When it clicked for me, the moment it clicked for me, I've heard, seen, and known a lot of information, but I was just ignorant about all of them because I don't think I was ready to take in that information. It's only when I was ready and took in that information is when I realized that there's a lot of information out there. So I just wanted to bring it down to it comes to the individual, whether you're ready or not. Because I can come to you, Shegu, now today and share my knowledge with you, which I believe is probably helped me out in a lot of different ways. But unless you are ready to receive that information and work with that information, it's just going to be a waste of time even talking to you on that information. So it has to be individual readiness. You have to be ready. You have to be hungry. You have to be eager to want that change for yourself. Because without that, nothing is going to work for us as a family or as the whole Africa that we want to see coming together and working together. So we have to really take a time to ask ourselves questions. Am I ready to make a change? And if you're ready to make that change, I guarantee you there's a lot of information out there. It's just a matter of we being ignorant about it. Somebody can come to you today and tell you, I've done this and it's worked out for me and my life is going really good. And most people do ignore those kind of stuff because they are not ready to take in those information. And as you said as well, there's a lot of jealousy, greed, enviness, and everything out there. Because I quite remember when I was a bit younger, I always asked myself questions like, why is it that when you have something good in your life and somebody want that thing, they cannot come to you face to face and ask you how you got that thing so they can also learn from you to get that thing. But instead, they will start to envy you. They will start to spread rumors about you. They will start to spread lies about you, how you got your
Yeah,
success when they don't even know what you have to go through to get what you got.
this
And
is the this is the pressure. This is the pressure from individualism.
it is.
So this is, you see, sorry to cut you. You see, when I wouldn't want us to fail the fact that we need to also emphasize the issue of poor communication. Yeah, when
Yeah,
there is a
communication is the key as
yeah, yeah,
well. It's
poor
very
communication
important.
within group can
Yeah.
can 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 be misunderstood and become a trust issue.
Okay.
And people having negative experience in the past can also
Yeah.
Okay.
put that fear. So that fear of exploitation. Let me give you an example. I I happen to have a friend. The guy is from the guy is from the northern part of Africa. Very very good friend of mine. The guy is the guy is lovely. The guy is open. Is an open book. Yeah, he's an open book. But immediately the guy start dating a girl from his own tribe. The guy just locked up. The guy just he suddenly locked up. So the things we share, because there are certain things we discuss. If I tell you that this guy we just met at work and become a very good friend, you would think, you would doubt. You say, we've known each other for donkey years. But no, we literally met at work. The guy is open as book. We become friends. He come to my house, I go to his house, we have dinner, like a family thing. But immediately he starts dating a girl from his tribe. The guy just locked up.
So why do you think it locked up? Is it because it's dating? It must be
Now,
deeper than that.
yeah, now, so the first impression I got was when he locked up. I noticed, because this guy is someone I know as an open book. He now locked up. When he locked up, and I felt maybe there's something I was saying, or something I'm not saying, or there's something I'm keeping behind, or I'm holding behind that I'm not saying.
You were trying to evaluate yourself to
Exactly.
really know.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to evaluate myself as, okay, what is going on? Is there any misunderstanding? Is it so? I now change my strategy, and to
Okay.
understand what I'm now doing now is the things we used to say in secret. I will say it in front of his girl,
Okay.
and when I start saying for his friends, the girl is using his eye contact with the guy. So the guy is not keeping the guy, all of a sudden the guy become reserved. The guy just automatically become reserved. So now, when this thing on going on for weeks, trust me, I don't keep such relationship for too long. I had to call him out. I say, guy, sit him down. Say, what is going on? Why this sudden change? Why this sudden code? And I had to force words out of his mouth. So that was when the guy was not telling me the prejudice, the kind of negative experience the girlfriend I've had with someone from my tribe,
Wow.
right? So, and that has messed up the girl's head, has
Mm,
messed up
mm,
her
mm.
mental reasoning. So that fear of exploitation. So he gave the girl sense of fear of exploitation, that the girl was not telling the guy, you need to be careful of this guy. You need to this guy, no matter how much you guys have known each other, I don't know how long you guys, but based on my negative experience, my previous collaboration with these certain people, don't deal with this guy. And of course, that mindset had only turned the guy on, and the guy literally followed. And I said, but and now, so when the guy told me, and I said, "Eh, this thing is not going to be lied down. I'm not going to let this thing lay low. I have to come to the house, sit the girl down, sit the guy down, we trash it out." When the girl opened up and told me everything, I was so I was man enough. If I was emotionally driven as such, I would have burst into tears. You need to hear the
Mm,
sad story of the
mm.
girl. The girl was highly exploited. So In a situation whereby you were exploited, you were exploited, and you live in an institution. You have an institution that is weak. There's a framework. So the incident happened in Nigeria, right? The incident happened in Nigeria, and of course, you and I know, we all know how Nigeria institution is very weak, limited access to dispute resolution. Even if you have an issue with a foreigner, it become even more difficult. So the young lady, when this experience, the resolution was not resolved. She was exploited, and she all went through a lot of trauma, heartache, depression, and all sort of things. So she survived just mainly based. So that stereotype and prejudice as you register, that's nothing
Mm.
you ever say. That's nothing you ever say that she want to deal with this certain group of people. So, and she now decided to now colonizing the young man, start educating the young man to be very careful of me. And I try as much as possible I can to really convince them that I sympathize with the situation, I understand the situation, but you can't just use because of your experience and conclude this is the way this part of the country is, or part of region is. I understand. So this will now come back to what Andrew was saying. We live in a pressure environment whereby society has emphasized on individualism. You want to achieve. Everybody's running. You see two friends. You see two friends running head scatter. The one friend, like what Andrew said, this friend has achieved this. Instead of you to humble yourself and ask the other friend, how did you do it? Can you show me the way? It it will be sitting. It will be miles away and be angry. It will, you so to ask your friend, could you show me how you did it? I want to get what you want. Can you show me? Can I learn from you? No, it will just be miles away. Be angry unnecessarily, and it's more predominantly it's becoming excess in this our generation. It's becoming worse because this issue of society emphasis, and also let me not fail to emphasize this: the global narrative, of the Western thinking that Africa can never be united. That's another big problem. That
Why?
yeah,
At
Africa
that
cannot be
point,
united.
at
You
that
see,
point, I think I will have to come in
mm,
because, and I will come in with a question, a simple question.
that is the narrative, narrative,
No,
narrative.
no, please. Before we begin to castigate the Western world for doing that, for saying that, I will ask you a question just now.
Yeah. Okay. Go
You
ahead.
just gave us, you just gave us an illustration from your
Yeah.
own personal experience. Now, from what transpired between you, the guy, and the lady,
Yeah.
number one, in fact, even you have explained that you fell for the lady, which means you agreed with what the lady was doing at that moment based on her experience, her past experience. That is, her past experience was what she was making her to ensure that her new boyfriend have nothing to do with you. And when you yourself listen to that experience, you felt for the woman. Now, the same thing it goes to the Western world because see, we really need to find a way of ensuring that we are back to our originality. And I think that is the essence of this. Because if we ourselves we are dealing with ourselves in such a manner that we will be feeling okay, look at the relationship that could have existed between you and your friend. If okay, assuming the lady had a very good experience from somebody from your tribe, don't you think that relationship will have become so cordial? And this is what brings me to the fact that everything we are doing on earth, we shouldn't just be thinking about ourselves alone. Anything, action or inaction, you should be thinking of what you are doing, what effect is it going to have on somebody else that you are yet to see. What effect will it have on your tribe, on an African person? Because it is the collation of a lot of us attitude that the Western world see and that they use to judge us. That is the truth. And that's why I said we now need to come back to this source. What is the real problem? Why are we having this problem of trust? Or even before we go to the level of trust, there are some, I think it has steps. Even common character we don't have. We don't, we cannot say something and stand by. We are not honest before you even go to the point of being trustworthy. For a simple matter, our yes cannot be yes, our no cannot be no. When you say good morning, you have to go and open the window. So I think we really need to check all these things among ourselves. We really need to, and as I've said earlier on, individually, we need to ensure that I am a trustworthy person. I could work upon myself, and well, I really appreciate what Andrew said, that informations are really there. How many of us are ready to listen to such information that could benefit our lives? That is the truth. In fact, I used to say something some years back. I said, in quotes, that it is known, is a known fact or a known statement that opportunity comes but once. But to me, I believe opportunities can decide to be coming every second. But the question is this: do you have eyes to see it?
Mm.
If you have eyes to see it, can you grab it? Do you have hand to grab it? If you have hand to grab it, can you utilize it? So, which means it's not enough for opportunities to be coming our way. It can be coming every time. The next question is this: can you recognize it when you see it? If you recognize it, can you grab it? If you grab it, do you know how to make use of it to become something important? And the truth of the matter is this: every human being is an opportunity in waiting, because you don't know who the next person seated by your side. You don't know who the person is. You might think you know, you don't know the person. I mean, you don't even know his future. That's what I mean by the person. I'm not even talking whether bad or good now. As in, you don't know what advantage could that person bring for you. You don't know of what essence has God allowed the two of you to meet. You don't know. But if you don't decide to be yourself, work on yourself, always ensure that at least to a certain extent, somebody can trust you. They can commit something to your hand before you realize it, that you will know. So this little thing I'm just doing, so it is going to go a long way, because that's the essence of the moment it click that we are discussing today. The three of us have actually met in recent time, but one way or the other, either the three of us or two of us in part have met at a point before now, and then we parted. But at the same time, by the time we come back together, we could relate with the foundation we've had so many years ago. So my viewers, to stop for now, my question is this: how many people have you met in your life? How have you treated those people you have met in your life? The little thing that have committed into your hands, how have you handled it? How have you seen it? Have you just seen it as an opportunity for me to enrich myself? Maybe they commit little thing, little token. Because I came across somebody recently that said he met somebody, a friend, he left a friend, he traveled out. He asked a friend to go to his church to go and help him collect the church account because he wanted to do a Thanksgiving. How much is the thing that he wanted to buy? And the guy at home insisted that you could not see the reference. There's no way you could get the account. This, just trust me now. We are friends now. This, that. Okay. The guy said, I will trust you. But please, will you do me a favor? When I transfer this money to your account, you will pay into the church account, and I want to see the evidence of payment from the church account. I said, that one is small thing. I will do it for you. Don't worry. Guess what? The guy sent money to the guy. And what happened next? By the time he will send the receipt, it was another person's entirely account that he sent the money to, and he claimed that person is a referent also in that church. I said, but I told you I want the church account. And there and then, this guy made up his mind that nothing can ever come from him to that guy again. That is the truth. This person is also is an African person. We just met by chance. I never knew him before. And he was just lamenting that why are people like this? Why? Because he just realized I'm also a black person. And he was just saying, why are we like this? And he now began to tell me what he has in mind to do for this person before that incident.
So, yeah.
But because of that incident, this guy just said, okay, you have collected the what you could ever get from me. And nothing is not going to, nothing is going to come across us again. So there are a lot of things like that. Simple integrity test we cannot pass. Please, my viewers, we really need to go back to the roots, because without that, we will be prolonging our journey of coming together to work together and do something together as Africans. And I think, honestly, in my own view, there are a lot of people in the diaspora that are willing, that are ready, that are looking for, that are crying, they want to come back home. But they are looking for the people back home, or even in the diaspora, that they could team up together in order to make Africa great. So the question to you, my viewer, is this: could you be one of such a person? Could I be one of such a person? How ready I am at any time when the opportunities door open to me. When can I grab it? Can I see it? Can I recognize? Can I utilize it? And I think that's the genesis of our own discussion of when the moment it click for us. Let me allow
Yeah, we
my
we
colleague to
I
go
think
further.
we all can. We all can because we all have potentials. We are all good in what we do. It's just a matter of believing in yourself, getting the right information, and being ready to work on yourself with that information. So I think the basics of everything is we need to have good attitude, and good attitude will take us a long way. And the best explanation of attitude I got a few years ago is your attitude is really your thoughts, the way you think, the way you feel will transform into your action. So that's just a simple as explanation or a simple definition of attitude: your thoughts, your feelings, your actions. So if you're thinking good thoughts, you're definitely gonna have a good feeling, and that your good feeling is definitely gonna come out in your actions. If you're having a bad thoughts, you're thinking negative, you're going to feel negative. You're going to have a negative feeling. And your negative feeling is like what we talked about you having something good, you being successful in what you do, and somebody else is envying you or somebody else is being jealous about you. If you understand this word attitude, you can understand how people come at you or get to you through that. Because if somebody is thinking negative thoughts about your success, obviously when they see you, the way they're gonna look at you, you feel it. You ask yourself questions. Why is this guy or why is this woman behaving this way towards me? It's because of their attitude. And it's just because of their thinking negative thoughts about what you have. They're feeling really bad. They're feeling left out. They're feeling like, oh, I could have had this, or I'm supposed to have this. Or they could probably even look at you saying, oh, you're not that smart enough to have what you have. You're not that cute enough. You're not that beautiful enough. You're not that handsome enough to have that beautiful woman in your life or to have that handsome man in your life. You see, there's so many things that we have to work on as individuals before we can even extend it to this big vision that we want to have. So to my viewers, I just want to throw you a challenge and say to yourself, be ready. Be ready. Don't be afraid. You know, one one thing that is also stopping us is the fear, you know, fear of failure, fear of missing out, the fear of, it's a whole lot of different things. Don't never have fear, because we are only on this earth for just a short amount of time. Use your time wisely, you know, just use it wisely. I mean, I'm talking this way because I have the level of awareness that I'm operating from right now is different from what I was operating maybe a year ago, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years ago, you know. And awareness is something that don't stop. Awareness is a way of life, you know. Me, what we are talking and discussing about today, I'm going to walk out of this discussion with another new level of awareness, because I'm communicating with people that are on a level of awareness too. So, I mean, because I'm ready to take in information and work with the information, I'm going to leverage on that awareness, and I'm going to expand my awareness more. So let's just be ready, and let's trust ourselves. Let's believe in ourselves. Don't look down on yourself. You have to always have that self image. You know, one thing that I want to share light onto is we have most people have negative self image. What I mean by your negative self image is you probably want to you probably want to open a business, but you're looking at yourself like, I'm not that educated enough to have that kind of business. But if you're not, you can work on it. You can
Sure.
find somebody who is on that level that is ready to teach you. And there's a lot of people that are ready to teach you. And if you go to somebody that is not ready, they are not the last person on this earth. Move on to the next person. Don't stop at one place. Have the fire in you burning. We all have potentials. Let's use that potential. We all have gifts. Let's use and let's discover. Find that gift. Discover it. Use it to your own advantage. Everybody has the potential to be great. Everybody have the potential to change things around them. Let's use that.
Yeah. Um, Thank you very much, my colleague Andrew. You see, basically, I was saying something before, and I have to re-emphasize it again. The global narratives which has been sold to Africa is still pushing forward. It's still pushing forward. It's still portraying that negative portrayal that makes it look as if Africa can never united, and that has been the perception. So that has been the successfully perception and unconsciously influencing our young generation growing up. So you find that when I mention about West Africa, East Africa, South Africa, North Africa coming together, when you talk about resources, we have every resources you can think of. Africa has every resources to be independent. But unfortunately, you see what is happening today. We can never be independent for anything. We always depend for aid. Why? Because of the perception, because of the global narrative they've sold to us, because the way our leaders took it in. Now, my viewers out there, where you're watching, where you're listening, are you listening from the north, from the west, from the east, from the south, wherever you're watching? Building trust could be a click in your life. It could be a click in your life. It could be part of the clicking. That moment it clicks might be the opportunity for you to promote transparency, clear agreement. When you're dealing with one another, there should be a clear agreement. That communication is key. If you miss, you see, a salesperson says when you miss that first impression, it's gone. For you to get it back, it's going to be very difficult. Just like you're invited for an interview, and you came late, 30 minutes late. Even though you are very good in what you're doing, before you to convince the the employer is going to hire you, for you to convince them that I'm very good at what I'm doing, you've already given them the first impression coming to the interview late in the first place. So it takes that first impression. That first impression really matters. So the moment it clicks could be educating yourself emotional intelligence. And how do you do that? Building skills of empathy. You build skills of empathy, that conflict resolution, that communication strategy for you to build that relationship, because communication goes a long way to harness relationship, harness people trust, make people to really trust you. So the moment it click might even be share responsibilities, rebuilding our culture values. What is our culture values? We have reviving the communion spirit, Africa philosophies, reviving our values, our culture, and of course, it could click by reliable, having a good system, following laws and order. Wherever we live, we follow laws and orders. We should try as much as possible to follow law and orders, because I tell you this: trust build requires an effort of everyone, not just me, not just my colleague Andrew. It's everyone's responsibility. We are all in this together to build that trust. That commitment should start from each and every one of us. We can do it. Within Africa families, friendship and commitment, we can do it. We can build that trust. That commitment is everyone's responsibilities. Everyone's responsibility. A new Africa is rising. A united Africa, a prosperous Africa. The time for unity is now. The time to call forth greatness within us all. One heart, one community, unstoppable vision. My viewers, I want you to subscribe to this station, join our movement. Let your voice become part of this powerful echo that resonates from the Cape to Cairo, from the island of Caribbean to the Strait of Nairobi. The time is now, and the world is watching. We'll be back with new edition to dive deeper, to challenge ourselves further, to grow together. Inva is where ideas become actions. Until next time, stay inspired, stay engaged, and let your light shine. Subscribe now to be part of this revolution. Together, let's reshape the narrative of Africa. The time is now.